Hello, this is an e-learning about Johann Sebastian Bach. This is a picture of Johann Sebastian Bach in his later years. And this is in addition to the worksheet that you had to do about Johann Sebastian Bach. But there were a couple of sentences in there that have vocabulary in it that you might not be very familiar with. So I'll read those two sentences. It says, his mastery of a particular Baroque form known as the fugue stands as one of his major accomplishments and contributions to the world of music. A fugue is a distinctly polyphonic work with specific and strict guidelines as to how each voice may be handled. So there are three words in there that are new, possibly, to you. And the first one is polyphonic. Polyphonic music simply means that there are two melodies happening at the same time during the music. It would be like singing, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, and then having someone else begin it at the same time. And that is polyphonic music. It's where you have two melodies happening at the same time. The next word in there is called fugue. It is a very, very strict form of music. There are so many rules about how to make a fugue happen. So what I'm going to do is play a little bit of a fugue here so you can understand better how they're put together. This one is the fugue in C minor from the Well-Tempered Clavier number 1. And the first part of it begins with the first melody. Sometimes they call this the subject, and the melody or subject goes like this. The second melody, or they call that the counter subject, goes like this. So those are the two that I'd like to highlight right now. Each one is a voice. So a voice doesn't necessarily mean something that you're singing. It just means a line of music. The fugue was a very popular form at the time of Johann Sebastian Bach. He lived in the 1700s and he died in 1750. So just to get you an idea of what was happening in the world during that time, America was still a colony of England. And the American Revolution hadn't happened yet. So in this picture of Bach, he's wearing a wig, just like George Washington. But when Bach died in 1750, George Washington was only 18. He was a master of the fugue form, and the fugue is really still used today by many composers. So let's take a look at the Well-Tempered Clavier. And it says it's from a clavier. A clavier is a type of instrument, and it looks like this. So it's a smaller instrument. It's a kind of a quieter instrument to play, and many people had these in their homes for entertainment. So here is the Bach fugue in C minor. Watch for the subject, the first melody, and the counter subject, the second melody. So that is the fugue in C minor. Now, Bach probably never heard it like that because the piano was really just a very beginning instrument at the time. He probably would have seen it played on this instrument, which is the harpsichord. The harpsichord has a very different quality than the piano. So this is it's the same song, it's just played on a harpsichord. Listen to the difference in the sound. I'll only play maybe 20 or 30 seconds of it. So that's a harpsichord. So it really has a very, very different sound to it. So that is a fugue. And another polyphonic work, which you may have heard before, is the Canon in D by Pachelbel. He was another of the composers that lived around the time of Bach. And when you listen to this, notice that the cello player, this guy right here, he's playing the same thing over and over. He'll be playing through the entire piece. We'll only listen to a couple of minutes. I hope to put some links to these pieces that you've heard under the comments here so that in case you want to listen to them again, you'll be able to. So here is the Canon in D by Pachelbel. So that's a little bit about Johann Sebastian Bach and Polyphony and the fugue. Take care. I hope you have an awesome rest of your learning day.